Alicia in Washington.
Hi, my question is, I guess for both of you, Tracie too, can you hear me? I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. You sound great.
Okay. I am an atheist, but recently I had a conversation with my friend. He is one of the most honest people I know, and he was just telling me about a supernatural experience that happened to him. I was hoping that you could give me your opinion on why that may happen, like what in the brain causes people to experience things like that. It would be awesome if you could recommend like a book about that or something.
Okay, well, first of all, why don't you tell me what he experienced?
Something, like, he and his friends were at a house, they saw figures, and the biggest part was they saw a car, but then the car disappeared. I'm not sure what would cause your mind to play a trick like that on you. I mean, shock and fear are very powerful things, but I don't know how that would happen.
I think it's really difficult when, like, have you talked to the other people? You say there's other people who witnessed to this?
Yes, and I have not talked to the other people, but he said that they all saw the same thing. Okay,
let me just say that I one time got a letter from somebody who said they saw a giant angel made of rainbows one day in front of some mountains where they were, I guess, at some kind of a taco stand, and they had some friends with them. And during this dialogue, they actually took the initiative to go get in touch with their friends during the time that this happened, right? With this giant 60-foot floating angel in the sky hovered in front of them and amazed them. You would think that would be an event that would be difficult for somebody to forget they experienced, and yet one of the three of them basically said that they didn't recall anything like that. Oh. So I think it's interesting what people see, what they think they see. The memory is an interesting thing. You can sometimes believe that you see things that you don't see. So have you ever had the experience of, for example, thinking that you saw something and then when you got closer to it, it wasn't quite what you thought it was?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, but you felt like, oh, someone hit that dog, there's a dead dog in the road, and then you get up to it and it's just like a garbage bag. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, this happens. And it could be the situation, especially when something looks like something else like that, from a particular vantage point, that you might have 2 or 3 people that say, oh, there was this poor dead dog in the road, right? And if you didn't ever get up close enough to it to examine it, everybody would say they saw a dead dog on the way to the studio tonight, right? I mean, but they didn't. They saw a garbage bag. So,
yeah, and also, like, don't forget confirmation bias, because if there were 3 people and one of them is like, oh, I just saw a car vanish, and even if some of the people were at first like, I don't think I saw anything like that. If the 3 people chat for a while and then one of them manages to convince the other that that's what he's seeing, the other people do wind up like retroactively rearranging their memories. Maybe you've heard that like the number of people who believe they were at Woodstock is like several times more than the number of people who were actually at Woodstock, because memory is a very selective and weird thing also.
It is, but I just want to say, like, I remember there was a story that was talked about a little bit on Nonprofits one night about a priest that everybody saw this priest at this event, and he disappeared, and the local church basically said that there was no they didn't have anybody from the parish, and we were talking about, different types of things that could have caused a thing like that, and I said, what if you just simply had a priest that was traveling? And guess what? There was a priest that was traveling, and he finally stepped up and said, I'm the guy that was at the accident. So you can have these things that occur that people just think are, completely unexplainable, and usually they're pretty mundane. I don't think that they're that, like with the rainbow angel, in fact, I actually found a type of phenomenon that does make rainbow-looking people and angels up in mountainous areas that you can go and Google. I forget what it was called, but I did do a thing about it at the blog, so there might be something mentioned in there that you can see. But I mean, the idea of actually finding giant rainbow angels as an illusion in nature was, to me, really interesting. because I had never heard of this thing, and yet it described perfectly what somebody was saying that they had seen.
Right. But I mean, with this story, as with a lot of other stories, the bottom line is that you can't be asked to explain an event that you weren't there to verify.
And can't go back and examine.
Yeah, you're getting this stuff secondhand from your dad, who presumably is a believer, right?
Yeah.
Or my friend.
Oh, I thought you said, okay. But yeah, your friend presumably is a believer and is telling you that this weird thing happened that they experience as supernatural, and they're telling you that the other friends experienced it too.
Right.
But you can't actually go and experience it yourself, and you only have this other person's word for it that that other people would back them up if you asked them.
And I guess my point is, even if people did back them up, we have no way to look at what happened. So there's no way to go back and repeat this to say, like, what did you see? Did you see a reflection? Did you see some shadows? Did you see something that was misinterpreted? There's no way to know that. It's like I'm saying, when you drive by that garbage bag in the road and it looked like a dog to you, from that point forward, you saw a dead dog in the road. It doesn't matter that that's not really what you saw. It's what it appeared to be to you, and that's how you processed it, and so that's the memory.
Yeah, when I was a kid, some friends and I thought we were seeing a UFO. And it disappeared as we stepped closer, and it turned out, as we figured out a short time later, it was light on a spider web.
I was, just for the past few days, I've been thinking about this and wondering, why so many people have experiences like this, and I was maybe thinking that maybe there was a field of research that I could go into to school to study why people experience this kind of thing. But like you said, Tracie, it's not a controlled setting that you can really... I've never experienced something like this, so it would just be...
How long, can I ask you, how long ago did they claim this occurred?
Oh, I'm not sure when it happened to them.
Okay.
They just told me about it about a week ago, I think.
Okay. Do you know what time of day it happened?
Oh, it was at night.
At night, yeah, okay, that's common as well. And at night, I just want to remind people that you don't see things as clearly and as well. People are not really geared toward night vision.
Is there any books that you could recommend about this kind of thing, or no?
I don't know.
I don't know anything.
It's hard to recommend a book because there's so many different things, I guess, that could cause a thing like this.
I would recommend picking up a book. Well, I was going to say some kind of cognitive psychology book or something about the way the mind works, but I haven't really read a lot of those books.
Russell mentioned an interesting thing. I think you were calling it. I don't remember what. But if you look up confirmation,
confirmation bias,
not confirmation bias, but when people comply with other people, conformity.
Oh.
If you look up conformity studies, right, conformity research. You'll find some interesting things about how people's perceptions can be changed simply by somebody else making suggestions. So it's kind of interesting. There's a lot of things that you can mess up about a person's memory just by simply suggesting something.
Yeah, there is an expert you can get in touch with. His name is Dr. Peter Venkman. He's a Ghostbuster. No, never mind.
We're just playing with you.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Thank you guys so much, and I just wanted to say that, Tracie, you're really awesome. You inspire me. Thank you so much for, I don't know, I love watching you, but thank you guys so much.
All right, well, I'm glad if you take something away from it. Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right.